Hey, good looking. What you got cooking?
Everything. I'll be singing me those songs. Did you get the bagels? Good. Good. Now I can start the egg.
I also got a copy of Tempo magazine.
Oh, since when did you start reading Tempo?
My little sister's on the cover.
What? Oh, isn't it a marvelous picture? You know, she is so beautiful I could hate her.
She has nothing on you, sweetheart.
Thank you very much. Is the article good?
Not for Erica.
Oh, what?
Listen to this. When we asked Miss Kane about the men in her life, Chad Norris came trippingly to her tongue. But those who know say it's bossman Brandon Kingsley who's right at the tip of her heart. For months, Sensuel's American Beauty was more than a name on Mr. Kingsley's payroll. They were often spotted in public as regulars among the crowd at Kirby's. And in private, our sources say Miss Kane's penthouse was the scene for cementing those all-important employer-employee relations.
Me for months?
It goes on.
What about now?
But Mrs. Brandon Kingsley has emerged victorious as the fly in Miss Kane's Sensual ointment. Boss Brandon has returned weekly to Hearth and Home in Connecticut, leaving a down-and-out American Beauty back on the market in the Big Apple.
Erica is just going to flip out when she reads that.
She won't take too kindly to it.
It has been rumored. How dare they? How dare they malign me like that? When I was so nice, I was so gracious to that reporter. Oh, I could tear out every hair on her head. Which?
Pardon me, ma'am?
Oh, nothing. Well, they are not going to get away with it. I mean, people in New York can just believe whatever they want to, but I am not going to let this filthy rag ruin my reputation in my own hometown.
Where is that man? Has he heard of punctuality?
Good morning, Mr. Corley.
Oh, good morning. You're late.
Not much.
Well, perhaps it was your conscience that delayed you.
My conscience?
It seems, Mr. Cudahy, that our little celebration yesterday was just a bit premature.
I don't understand.
I have not heard one word from my daughter. And if, as you seemed to be sure last night, that she would ask Warner for a divorce, why haven't I heard from her?
Tell me, Nina, why are you doing this to us?
Because I already told you.
No, you've told me a lot of weak lies, Nina. You haven't told me the truth.
Yes, I have. I have told you the truth.
Nina, don't you think I know you better than that? Come on, we promised we'd never do this to each other. You gotta level with me, Nina. Tell me why you want to leave me.
Chris, I already have.
Who's put you up to this, Nina? Who is it? Tell me, Nina. Tell me.
Now get your hands off me. Now. I had to taste them first.
They ought to be. They're fresh.
You know what I should have asked you to do? Pick up some smoked salmon so we could have it with the eggs.
Ah, shades of our New York hotel breakfast.
I remember that you liked lox with your eggs.
Yes, I do like lox with my eggs. And I like you, too.
Good.
I may even love you.
That's nice because you're stuck with me.
You went by to see Bonnie yesterday?
Yes, you told me. Said she was asleep.
She's such an angel.
Yes, she is.
Listen, have you given any more thought to, to our having one?
I knew you were leading up to that.
Well, is it such a no-no?
No. Of course not. And I have given it some thought.
And?
I would like very much for us to have a child. But, honey, not now. I have too many commitments?
You sound like your dance card is all filled.
Oh, come on. You know what I mean. Look, Mark, I've got to go back to New York to work with Eugenia in another few days. Plus the fact I'm right in the middle of an end-of-summer sale at the boutique.
Well, I'm not talking about starting on it right this very minute.
Don't tempt me.
Is there a problem?
Yeah, bad timing. Don't you understand?
Yes, but it still takes 9 whole months to have a baby. I don't think the sale at the boutique will last all that time.
Ah, you. Look, you just said we didn't have to start right now.
I get the feeling you're trying to put me off.
No, I'm not. Look, I'll go just get the coffee. Mark, I'd like to get my life in a little more order before I take on that kind of responsibility again. Now, the pregnancy is the least of it. Once the baby's here, it's a 24-hour-a-day job.
But there's no reason that you have to be tied down. I mean, we can certainly afford to have a nurse or a housemaid or whatever they are.
It would put a rein on our freedom.
Meaning you don't want one?
No, meaning that I want to wait until the time is right. Oh, we want to be fair to the baby, don't we?
Yeah, sure.
Come on, please don't be like that, honey.
Honey, I'm not being like anything. It's you. You just seem to be looking for excuses.
No, that's not true.
All right. I mean, you're the one that has to go through it. I want it to be a mutual decision.
Look, honey, it's not as if we don't have time.
Yeah. Are there any more eggs?
Sure, I'll get them.
Oh, I'll get them.
Mr. Corlin, I honestly expected Nina to be here, or at least to have called.
Yes, well, so had I, but obviously you were a little wrong in your predictions. Nina hasn't even mentioned a divorce to her husband.
You can't be sure of that.
Well, I can. If she had, she wouldn't have spent one night under the same roof with that man.
Maybe she's gone to a friend.
Oh, no, Nina's not the type to air her problems. Well, unless, of course...
Unless what?
Well, she might have gone to that Jeanville woman.
No, she didn't.
How do you know that?
Well, I happened to pass Mrs. Jeanville's car on the way here. She was headed toward town.
What does that prove?
Mr. Corlin, with Nina as upset as we both know she must have been, there's no way Mrs. Jeanville would have left her in that apartment by herself.
Oh, well, Sean, our whole scheme has backfired.
Why do you say that?
Well, use your head. There's no doubt about it. I mean, Nina has told Warner of Sybil's threat to put that child up for adoption unless Nina divorces him. And he's convinced Nina to stay with him in spite of it.
No way. Not after my talk with Nina. I'm sure I convinced her that the loss of Bobby would fester inside Cliff until he would start to hate Nina. Especially since there's a possibility she may not be able to give him a child.
Oh, that's nonsense. Her diabetic condition doesn't preclude that she have a child.
Well, she hasn't become pregnant yet, and we both know she's been trying.
Well, he'd never accept that argument. He'd talk her out of it like that.
That's precisely why I told Nina to be very simple about it and just tell him that she married too young and that she was not ready for the responsibilities of marriage.
Well, you know what I think? I think Warner went directly to Sybil for a confrontation.
Well, Sybil wouldn't expose us.
Oh, wouldn't she? You think she wants to make herself out the villain? Oh, no. Do you know what that would mean? I would lose my daughter forever. And you could just give up any hope you ever had of making her your wife.
Oh, good morning, everybody.
What are you doing with that child?
Well, Nina brought him by earlier and asked me to babysit. I couldn't be more thrilled, could I? Because Auntie Donna just loves Bobby to pieces. Say hi to Grandpa Palmer.
Cliff, I said let me go.
Okay, I'm sorry. Nina, you know I wouldn't hurt you for anything in the world. Can we just talk, though?
I have told you that there's nothing to be said. Now, no one is influencing me. I've made up my own mind.
Nina, do you really expect me to believe that?
I don't care what you believe. Now, I don't want to be married anymore. I just want a divorce.
Nina, honey, you don't know what you're saying.
I do know what I'm saying. Now, it was a mistake. And I was too young to be married, and I just want to finish my schooling.
Nina, this is absurd.
Okay.
Okay, Cliff, I will admit it. It's all my fault. It really is. I knew I was wrong from the beginning, and I shouldn't have gone through with it.
Nina, you went through it because you loved me.
Yeah, well, sometimes love just isn't enough.
Oh, Nina, come on.
Cliff, I made a mistake. I realize that now.
It is not a mistake, Nina. Our love for each other could never be called a mistake.
Okay. Okay, then I just can't cut it. Can you understand that? I want out. I don't want to be married. I don't want a house. I don't want to take care of Bobby. I just want to be free.
Free to do what?
Free to live my life without all these responsibilities. Oh, Cliff, please, just I want a quick divorce, a Caribbean divorce.
I'm not going to give you a divorce, Nina, quick or otherwise.
Well, then I'll have to get one on my own.
Yeah, well, I'm going to fight you every inch of the way, right down to the last minute until you come to your senses, Nina.
Why won't you believe me?
Because I know you better. Nina, somebody else is behind this. It's your father, isn't it?
No. No, it is not my father. Now, why can't you believe that I would honestly have these thoughts on my own?
Nina, this is not you talking.
Cliff, it just is not working out for me.
Okay. Give me one good reason why.
I've given you a lot of reasons.
No, you have given me a lot of words that add up to nothing, Nina. I love you. We've been happy. We have a family. We have Bobby. We have a brand new house. What in the world could change your feelings for all that?
I just do not want to be your wife.
Why? What have I done?
Nothing. Cliff, you haven't done anything. Oh, why do you have to drag this out? Why can't you just do what I say and just forget everything?
Nina, don't you understand? I love you. You're my whole life. Nothing in the world could make this more painful than it is right now. Nothing.
These are about the best sausages I ever ate in my life.
Well, I'm glad you like them, dear. You want some more?
No, I reckon I'll leave some for Jenny.
Is she still asleep?
Like a log. Got in kind of late last night.
I know. You know, I started to worry last night when I went up to bed. Ooh, and she wasn't home yet.
Well, I guess it was one of them long movies, you know, outer space.
Oh, Tad used to like that kind of picture, too.
Well, like brother, like sister, I guess.
Still, I worry about a girl her age being out on the street at night alone. And you should worry, too, Opal.
Well, as a matter of fact, I waited up for Jenny. Although I know not too much can happen to her in a tiny little town like this, but I'd like her to know, you know, keeping an eye on her.
Yes, it's quite a responsibility having a teenage daughter, especially if she's as pretty as Jenny is.
Oh, you bet it is. And speaking of the Sleeping Beauty, I think I'm going to run upstairs and give her a poke.
No, I can do it. You shouldn't go up and down the stairs so often, dear, with that heart condition.
Oh, that's okay. I kind of know, you know, what I can do and what I can't. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
Thanks again for that wonderful breakfast, Miss Martin.
You're welcome. Tell Jenny I'll have her breakfast ready when she's ready.
Okay, I will do. Excuse me now.
Sure. Dr. Martin's residence.
Dr. Martin here. How you doing, Kate?
Joe, what a wonderful surprise. How are you, dear, and Ruth?
We couldn't be better. We're having the time of our lives.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. How about the weather? Is it good?
The weather's beautiful.
Oh.
Really, it's what the doctor ordered.
Yeah. Well, it certainly is the Cape is where you can revive your spirits.
Yes, it is, but it also whets the appetite, unfortunately. You should see us. Ruth is eating everything she can lay her hands on.
Well, just as long as you exercise it off. Is Ruth there?
Is she there? She's right here next to me. Can't wait to talk to our son. How is he?
Oh, he's just wonderful. Incidentally, he started to be interested in gardening. He's pulling up weeds and several of my perennials.
Well, hang on. I think Ruth would like to hear about this.
Hi, dear. How's everything? Everything's just wonderful. We miss you.
I wish we could say the same.
I'm glad you can.
Is our beautiful little son around there any place I really would love to say hi to him?
Well, honey, he's out in the backyard with Betsy, but I can go get him if you want.
Oh, no, don't bother. You just give him a big hug and a kiss from us, and we'll call you back later.
Oh, well, fine. Joe says you're having a wonderful time.
Oh, absolutely the greatest. You're not going to recognize us when we get home. I mean, we're so tan and we're healthy.
Well, you just keep it up, dear. Oh, listen, when you come back, don't forget to bring me some shells.
Oh, I've got a whole collection for you.
Good.
How are you and Betsy getting along without us? Things must be pretty quiet, huh?
Well, actually, they're not. It just so happens I have a couple of house guests for the moment.
What do you mean you lost your job?
Mom, I couldn't help it. It wasn't my fault.
What happened?
It's an awful place to work anyway. With that dumb fox costume and that silly tail hanging down my back.
I asked you what you did lose this job.
I didn't do anything. I was serving drinks and this guy grabs my leg and made me spill them all.
Who, a customer?
Yes, a customer. Some of the drinks got on him. Well, I told him I was sorry, but it was his fault for grabbing me like that in the first place.
No wonder they fired you.
And then the boss came in and told me I was clumsy, and I said it wasn't my fault. And he said if I didn't like working there, maybe I should just take my things and leave.
Did he pay you at least for the hours you put in?
I didn't think to ask.
Oh.
I just took out my things and took the bus back here, Mama.
Well, you're just going to have to get that job back, Jenny.
What?
You heard me. You're going to have to go in and apologize to him and tell him next time he'll be more careful.
Mama, that customer made a pass at me.
Oh, who cares? He didn't mean anything by it. That is a very good place for you to be seen by important people in showbiz, Jenny.
Mama, nobody important ever goes into that place. It's the pits.
How do you know? Don't backtalk me, young lady. You want to have a career or not?
No, I don't. I just want to go to school and be a kid, Mama.
You're too sappy to know what you want. Jenny, I hear that all the New York shows come over here to Center City to try out. One of these days, an important director or producer's going to come into Foxy's, see you, and, man, you're going to be on your way.
Mama, you're really dreaming. People like that don't go into Foxy's. It's a dive.
Hate it. Well, hate it or not, young lady, we are going back there today, you and me, and you're going to get your job back. Do you hear me? Now, that's all there is to it. I want you to get some clothes on, come downstairs, and eat this breakfast. You hear me, girl? On the double.
All right. Now, you tell Mrs. Gardner and Jenny that we will see them very soon. Yes, of course we'll keep in touch with you. Yeah, bye-bye, dear. Joe, that letter that Kate found, that Jenny wrote to Tad, might lead us to him.
Well, I don't see how, sweetheart. I mean, it was written several months ago, and there was no return address on it.
Well, honey, Kate said the envelope was missing. Now, for all we know, the address could have been on it, and Tad took it with him.
Maybe, but still, Mrs. Gardner told Kate that she hadn't heard a word from Tad.
Oh, Tad might have tried to call after they had already left California.
I suppose, but still, nobody out there knew where the Gardners were going.
Joe, they've got to have left our address with someone. I mean, a neighbor, maybe.
Police looked into all that, honey, and they said no.
Joe, I think that we've got to go home. I think we've got to sit down and talk with them and get as much information from them as we possibly can.
Oh, I suppose you're right. Anyway, it's been a wonderful couple of days up here.
You don't mind cutting it short?
Well, yes, I do mind, but you're right, this is more important.
Oh, darling. It's been heavenly.
Not even a scar, huh?
Mm-mm. Oh, no, not one. You know, Kate probably could use our help. I mean, you know, if Mrs. Gardner has this heart condition.
That's right, sweetheart. We'll go. Besides, you know, it's not where we are that's important. It's how we feel about each other.
I love you.
I love you, sweetheart.
Nina didn't give any reason for leaving Bobby with you?
Oh, no, why? Here you go.
Well, I don't know. It just, it seems like a rather strange request so early. And was she nervous or upset in any way?
Well, yeah, come to think of it, she did seem kind of out of it. Like she had something on her mind, you know?
Anyway, I guess I didn't notice too much because I was so involved with Bobby.
It's nothing to worry about. No, she's probably the pressures of the new house and everything. Look, why don't you take little Snookums here out to the gazebo? Perhaps I'll join you later.
All right. What do you think of that, honey? Let's go watch the squirrels and the little birds.
There you see, Mr. Cortland. It proves I'm right. Why else would Nina have been so upset unless she'd broken the news to Cliff?
It's not necessarily the case.
What else could it be?
Well, it could be the strain of such a weighty decision on her mind.
You think she may not have asked Cliff for a divorce?
I think she may not have been able to bring herself to do it. She might have chosen another alternative.
What alternative?
The only alternative left to her. If she is to fulfill Sybil's demands to get out of Cliff's life.
You don't really think Nina would consider taking her own life?
Oh, you really don't know my daughter, do you? She's the most selfless person alive. She'd rather hurt herself than hurt others. I've got to call her.
No, Mr. Cortland, a phone call could ruin everything right now.
I have to find out what...
Mr. Cortland, please, wait. I'm sure Nina will call. If you tip your hand now, the results could be disastrous.
Cliff, do we have to go on and on and on about this? Can't we just get it over with?
Don't you know by now there is no way I'm ever going to give you up?
Even if I don't want you?
Nina, I don't believe that is what you want. I believe there's a hell of a lot more going on here than you are telling me. And I am not going to let you ruin both of our lives without a good reason. Hello.
May I speak with my daughter, please, Dr. Warner?
Just a minute. It's your father.
Good morning, Father.
Nina, darling, are you all right?
Yes, I am. Why?
Well, I don't know, you may think me a rather foolish man, but I had a dream about you last night. It was really a nightmare, and you were in some kind of trouble, and, well, it was so real I just had to call you and make sure that you were all right.
I'm fine. I am, really.
Well, you don't sound just fine. There's something in your voice. Are you upset about anything?
No, it's just that I have so many things to do with the house, and I've been so busy.
Anything else? You sure?
No. Except for, Father, I do need to come by and talk to you. Will you be there later this afternoon?
Oh, well, I shall not only be here, I'll be waiting for your call.
Okay. Good. I'll talk to you later, okay?
And Nina, you know that I love you?
Yes. Yes, I do. I'll talk to you later, okay?
I was right. It is your father, isn't it?
Cliff, my father has nothing to do with
Your
this.
father
he has
has had a hand in every bad thing that has ever happened to us, Nina. He has been the cause of all of our troubles.
I've told you it is my decision and mine alone.
You told me that once before, Nina. Remember when he told you were going blind? Well, I'm not going to stand for it this time. This time I am going to do something about him.
Cliff, no! Now, I couldn't bear another confrontation between you and Father.
Then you tell him to stay out of our lives.
I can't. I told you that. He is not responsible. He's not the one who put me up to this.
Then there is someone that put you up to it.
No, I didn't say that.
You implied it, Nina. Tell me who.
No, I didn't say. I really
Nina,
didn't.
look, I know damn well that this is not your idea. Now, please, will you please level with me for both of our sakes? Tell me who put you up to this. Who?
All My Children will continue.
You sure I'm not keeping you?
No, you're not keeping me. I don't have any classes. Come on in. Sit down.
Well, where's Ellen?
She had to go down to the boutique early. She's having a sale or something. I don't know. You want some coffee?
No, thank you. I'm too upset. I see you read it.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, I am furious, Mark. I was about to run down to that office and demand a retraction, but Brandon wouldn't let me.
No, he's right, Erica. That'd be like opening up a can of worms.
But, Mark, he is getting a divorce. And Brandon and I are engaged to be married. And I want you to tell that to everybody in this town. His wife did not win.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'll be stopping people on the street to tell them that exciting news. But if anybody says anything to me, or in front of me, I'll definitely set them straight. I mean, you are living together, aren't you? That's proof enough of who's the winner.
Well, that's changed a bit.
You're not living together?
Well, it's not as if he wouldn't want to. Brandon would love to move in with me. But Sarah has made it very clear that she would make a lot of trouble if he does.
Aha. Like sue for adultery?
Huh. Can you imagine how a woman could be that vengeful? I mean, think what it would do to her children.
Well, if I were her, I'd tread very lightly if she has any idea of some kind of settlement.
Oh. Well, that's the other thing. Wouldn't you know it, the woman happens to be independently wealthy. She doesn't need Brandon for a dime.
Well, it's nice work if you can get.
Oh, it's revolting is what it is. I mean, I just can't believe that she would force Brandon out of his job, that she would ruin him at Sensuel.
Is that what she's threatening?
Yes, of course it is. And Brandon really needs the job. I mean, he doesn't have this enormous private income to fall back on, you know.
Well, neither do you if you find yourself out on your ear.
No, and wouldn't she just love that? You know, I'm just so glad that Brandon cares enough about me that he just doesn't want to see me risk getting hurt in any way at all. Mark, Brandon and I really do love each other very, very much. I just can't believe that some people could be so cruel, they could be so vicious and jealous.
Listen, how long is this divorce going to take?
That's the worst part. Sarah is insisting on a long legal separation. Mark, it's going to be more than a year before we can be married.
But you'll still be able to see each other.
Oh yes, every chance we get. As a matter of fact, Brandon spent the night at my apartment last night.
Oh. No private detectives hanging around.
Well, we have to be careful of that, of course. I mean, Brandon said that Sarah is not beyond that.
Well, it looks to me like Brandon's calling the shots here.
What does that mean?
I mean, it looks like he's having his cake and eating it, too. I mean, he's got his home in the country with his wife and children and his little apartment in New York with his bride-to-be.
Mark, that is only because those are the only conditions under which Sarah will grant him the divorce. If anybody's calling the shots, it's she.
Look, I hate to say this, but it certainly sounds to me like you're being compromised again.
Yes, I know it looks like that. I know. But I have no choice.
Nina, listen to me. We made each other a promise a long time ago not to keep secrets from each other again. That promise is more important now than it ever has been. Please, tell me who put you up to this.
Sybil.
Sybil?
She said that if I didn't divorce you, she'd give Bobby away to strangers.
What?
Cliff, she said unless I did what she told me to, she would give him away for adoption. And I couldn't tell you any of this, so she would definitely give him away to strangers.
When? When did she tell you this?
It was yesterday. She was at the house when you called me.
Of course. That's why you sounded like that on the phone.
Oh, Cliff, please don't tell her. Please don't, because she'll give him away.
Why would she want to do this? Why? She's been so happy with everything the way it's worked out. She still thinks I'm going to marry her? Is that it? She thinks I'll do anything to keep my son?
I don't know. She didn't really say.
Oh, Nina. You were willing to sacrifice our whole relationship so that I could keep my son.
I know how much you love him.
Of course I love him. But I love you so much more. Don't you know that if I didn't have you, I wouldn't have a life?
Cliff, what happens if we can't have our own children?
Did she use that on you?
She said that even if we did have our own children, you would miss Bobby because he was your firstborn.
No. I hate her. I hate her so much.
But it's true. Cliff, it is true. You would miss him. And I don't want to be responsible for your losing your son.
And you were willing to end our relationship for my sake.
I think it was also for my own. I couldn't live with you knowing that I'd done that to you.
Nina, don't you know? You are my whole life. My love will never change for you. I don't care what Sybil does. I don't care. I have you. You're all I ever wanted, all I ever needed. You are the single most important thing in my life.
I know a little more than I did before.
Well, Nina said she wanted to talk to you. She's probably waiting for Cliff to leave.
Well, I can't wait that long.
Come on, Sybil. You're not going to call Nina back.
No, I'm calling Sybil.
Sybil, why?
To find out what really happened during her visit with Nina yesterday.
I already told you the details, Mr. Corbin.
Yes, which you got secondhand from Nina. I want to know firsthand what was really said during that visit. The line's busy. She's fiddling away her time on the phone while my life hangs in the balance.
No trick to it. You just squeeze the lemons and add sugar.
Oh, but really, Mrs. Martin, you seem to have the magic touch.
As you have the magic touch for Martin.
Oh, isn't that very sweet of you to say? But I guess we both know that fame has its price, doesn't it?
I don't quite know what you mean there.
Oh, well, by this time, Mrs. Martin, I'm sure that you have read all those lies about me in Tempo magazine.
Tempo magazine?
Yes, Mrs. Martin, that's one of the reasons that I stopped by. I mean, you are just one of my dearest and oldest friends in this whole town. And I don't want you to think that all that they printed in that horrible magazine is true about me. I mean, that article is just riddled with inaccuracies.
Erica, I haven't the faintest idea of what you're talking about. I have never read a Tempo magazine. I'm sure there's never even been one in our home.
Well, but still, I'm sure you're going to hear about it, Mrs. Martin, because, I mean, everybody in this town is so involved with my fame as Sensuel's American Beauty.
Well, I think there's some of us who can take it in stride.
Well, just the same, I feel that I owe an explanation to my loyal fans. So anyway, Brandon Kingsley and well, he's the head of Sensuel Cosmetics, you know. Well, Brandon Kingsley and I are engaged to be married.
Well, my best wishes, Erica.
Well, thank you. But you see, the thing is that all those horrible people down at Tempo magazine, they just on purpose misquoted everything that I said. I mean, I am not a husband stealer. Far from it. As a matter of fact, Brandon is separated from his wife and has been for some time now. It's just that she just keeps insisting on this long-term legal separation before the divorce becomes final. I mean, as a punishment to him, you know.
I think I do.
Well, and the truth of the matter is that Brandon and I are very, very much in love, Mrs. Martin. And our relationship has never been anything but honorable. You know what I mean.
Yes, I seem to get the message.
Okay, but for some reason, just some people can't help being vicious, that's all. I mean, I guess it's jealousy or something, and I guess that reporter just felt she had to paint me in a bad light. I don't know, but I think sometimes they feel that they can sell more magazines if they make something sensational out of something that is just pure and innocent.
Yes, I venture to say.
Well, anyway, I just really felt that, Mrs. Martin, I really felt that I owed you an explanation, and you must know that none of what was in that magazine article is true. You have to know that. I mean, I am a moral person. And you, above all people, you know that.
Oh, Miss Martin, there's a telephone call for you. I think it's Millie.
Oh, thank you. You excuse me, dear.
Oh, well, of course.
Oh, I'm sorry. Erica, this is Mrs. Opal Gardner, my house guest, Erica Kane.
Certainly.
Now, I'll just be a few minutes and have some lemonade.
Okay. Do you care for a little bit more of this?
No, thank you.
Oh, my goodness, Erica Kane! Why, you're an American beauty, aren't you?
Well, yes, I am. Well, how nice of you to recognize me.
Oh, well, how could I help but recognize you? My goodness. Why, you're a celebrity. I must have seen you a million times on the television and in the magazines. Matter of fact, I was reading an article about you in one of them just last night. Hang on, I'm going to go get that. Why, here it is, see? I'll be darned if that ain't you right on the cover here. And think of me just sitting right here on this porch next to you. Well, I can't get over it. Somebody as beautiful and as famous as you. You're even more beautiful and famous in person than you are on the cover of this here magazine. And that is saying something, too, because what a gorgeous picture this is of you.
Oh, well, thank you. That's very sweet of you. Well, that picture was taken by one of the finest photographers in New York.
No kidding. Well, I bet it was just a snap for this man to take that picture of somebody as beautiful as you are, right? Could I ask you a favor, please, Miss Kane? Would you be so kind as to autograph this for me? It means so much to me.
Well, certainly.
All right.
Please.
Here, take this pen, and if you could write to Jenny, that's my daughter. Just write that right there across your face. My daughter would just love it. She looks a lot like you, as a matter of fact. Oh, well, except she's not quite so gorgeous, you know, but of course she's a lot younger than you, too. Anyway, you're kind of a role model for my Jenny. She wants to grow up to be an actress and a model. She's got her heart set on it.
Well, I certainly wish her all the
Thank
best.
Well, I bet you could give my Jenny a couple of pointers about the business, couldn't you? I mean, just kind of tell her a couple of things, show her the ropes, if you know what I mean.
Well, I really don't know what I could tell her. She really has to get her own training, make her own contacts.
Oh. Well, even saying that to her would be a big help. I'll tell you what, Miss Kane, my little girl is right upstairs in the bedroom. Would you mind terribly if I went and got her and brought her down?
No, of course not. Not at all. I'm always very happy to meet my many fans.
Oh, all right. I must say you are the best. Okay, so you just sit tight right here, and I'm going to go up and give Jenny a yell. Don't go away now, you hear? I'll tell you, she's going to be so excited. Jenny! Oh, Jenny, baby, guess what? I got a surprise for you. Now, come on, get out of those radio jeans into something great looking, baby. The chance of a lifetime is waiting downstairs for you.
This picture doesn't even do me justice.
Still busy.
Well, she's long-winded.
What is that?
That's the Miller report. It just arrived by special messenger.
Be bothered with that now. Sybil cannot have been on the phone this long. Yes, operator. I have been trying to reach 555-6127, and the line is always busy. Could you verify if that line really is busy? Thank you.
Mr. Corlin, I really don't think it's necessary to talk to Sybil. I told you everything she recounted to me about the meeting with Nina. And Nina verified everything about it.
Listen, something has gone wrong, Sean. I feel it in my bones. I have to hear for myself, but really... Yes, operator. Off the hook? Is there any way to correct that situation? I see. Thank you. Stupid woman has left the phone off the hook.
Mr. Corlin, I think you're worrying about nothing. I'm sure when Nina calls you back, she's going to tell you exactly what you want to hear, that she has asked Cliff for a divorce.
Yes, well, we can't be sure that Nina will call back. She may be contemplating some more drastic reaction.
No, I guarantee you she isn't.
Well, you can't guarantee that she isn't telling Warner the whole story right now.
She wouldn't do that.
You don't know whether she would or she wouldn't. I have to find out exactly what Miss Thorne told Nina yesterday. At least make sure that the two of us are in the clear. If there are any calls, fake messages.
Cliff, you can't let Sybil give your son away. You'd never forgive yourself for that.
She's bluffing. She is not just going to give her child away.
But she would. Honey, she just wants you. You know that.
Nina, we are not going to play into her hands. We're not going to give her that power over us.
I know how much you love Bobby. And I don't want to be responsible for you losing him.
Nina, you wouldn't. Believe me, once Sybil finds out that there is no way we are ever going to let her come between us, she's going to back off.
Well, she won't. Cliff, you didn't see her at the house yesterday. She is very determined, and she doesn't care anything about Bobby. She just wants you.
Well, she's not going to get me. And I don't think it's going to be that easy for her to put Bobby up for adoption to some strangers. Not when we are ready, willing, and able to adopt him ourselves.
Oh, but she is not going to give him to us.
Well, maybe the decision won't be hers, Nina.
The judge will decide on the side of the mother.
Maybe not in this case. Think of her case, Nina. She's left Bobby with us all this time while she's out with some guy having fun.
Doesn't make her an unfit mother.
Do you really think I am going to let her give my son to strangers? I'll kill her first.
Cliff.
No, I mean that. I have had it up to here with Sybil Thorne. And I am not going to let her use my son even one more time as a weapon against us. I'm not.
Tomorrow, look at America's nursing shortage, Dr. Tim Johnson on heart attacks, and singer Kim Carnes on Good Morning America.
Tomorrow, Mark has to pass the biggest test of his life and get on the first egg back to Oregon.